So for this video, I thought it would be a nice change of pace if I actually took a moment to talk about all the things that I think make consulting a great profession. Now, a lot of people get the impression that I hate consulting, and that couldn't be further from the truth. You think it's because of the memes? Yeah, I think it's because of the memes. But the truth is, I actually, and unironically, love consulting. Well, the consulting part of consulting, it's the rest of the peripheral bullshit that can make it an absolute nightmare, which is something I'm definitely planning on covering in another video. But for now, let's take a look at a few areas that I think, taken together, make consulting great. Okay, so the first clarifying statement I'm going to make is that I'm mainly going to be focusing on compensation in the US. Global compensation can vary wildly, even within the context of regional cost of living. You can check out the results of the Global Compensation Survey I just released on consultinghumor.org. I'll put a link in the description. But anyway, let's just assume that I'm talking about things from the frame of reference of a consultant in the United States. The money in consulting is compelling, especially at the entry and more junior levels. I think things get a little bit more complicated when you start going higher, but for the sake of this video, I want to keep it simple and talk about entry-level compensation. People coming out of undergrad into analyst roles at big firms can make anywhere between $75,000 and $100,000 base salary a year, and a decent bonus on top of that based on performance. These numbers can vary widely, but it's not uncommon to get a 15 to 20% bonus after your annual performance review. That being said, are there higher paying entry-level jobs? Sure. But in the context of salaried entry-level positions, consulting's right up there, especially considering the fact that we're talking about people that don't necessarily have real-world experience, with the potential to earn six figures in their early 20s. In this respect, I'd say the money is definitely one of the key factors that contributes to the attractiveness of consulting as a career. In addition to the money, one of the best things about consulting is how quickly you can advance your professional career. In industry, oftentimes you'll find yourself languishing in one role, waiting for the person above you to get promoted, leave, or retire, or die.
Thank you, Dark Souls.
In contrast, consulting is one of the most upwardly mobile professions that exist. I mean, shit, look at this guy. Went from associate to AP in under 4 years, then fucking fucked off to Google afterwards.
I mean, that doesn't really even seem possible, if you think about it.
While I wouldn't say this kind of meteoric rise is super common, it isn't uncommon to go from analyst to managing director by your mid-30s. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find any other big industry that allows for as quick and clear of a promotional pathway as consulting offers. And this brings me into my next point.
Part 3.
If you ever get tired of consulting or want better work-life balance or want to see your friends on the weekends, then great news, because consulting offers some great exit opportunities. In general, more prestigious firms like McKinsey, Bain, and BCG, or Big Four like KPMG, EY, PwC, and Deloitte. I know people are going to be pissed that I said KPMG first and Deloitte last, but whatever, suck it up. Shit, where was I? Right, so coming out of these more prestigious firms can land young professionals in positions that normally would have taken them decades to work up to using traditional means. In fact, if you work for a big company, check out the LinkedIn profiles of your leadership. Chances are, quite a few of them are going to have consulting backgrounds. And even though no sensible person would ever say that they're in it for the exit ops during an interview.
So, Peter, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Don't say doing your wife, don't say doing your wife, don't say doing your wife. Doing your son?
Yeah, actually people say this all the time during interviews. Just do yourself a favor and don't say it, no matter how true it is. Exit opportunities are a big part of why a lot of people join consulting, and in my opinion, it can be a huge value add to your resume. To me, one of the best things about consulting is the dynamic nature of the work. I can't think of any other industry that gives you access and experience in so many areas in a short amount of time. And don't get me wrong, sometimes this kind of fly by the seat of your pants thing can get pretty overwhelming, but it's such a rush to be dropped into a project that you have little to no context for on day one, then by the end of the project, pretty much know that segment of the industry inside and out. And I know this sort of thing isn't for everyone, but personally, I really like the opportunity to move from one project onto the next, and never stagnate in one place for too long. But hey, if you're into that sort of thing, you could always try federal consulting. The last thing I wanted to talk about that I think makes consulting great is working with a great team. Now, I know that the general consensus is that coworkers aren't your friends, but being stuck inside a room with no windows on a client site with the same 5 people for 3 to 6 months,
It was fucked up.
Project management.
Changes a man.
and that's not to say there aren't shit teams and shit managers and shit clients, but like I said, that's for another video. Having a good team can make or break your experience on a project, and honestly, some of these teammates have become some of my closest friends, even to this day. I think it probably has something to do with collective suffering building a shared sense of camaraderie, like pledging a fraternity or going through boot camp or serving prison time together. Whenever I think of some of the worst projects I've ever been on, I mostly remember the good times I've had with my team rather than the bad times with the client. Alright, that's the end of this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Feel free to argue with me in the comments, and like I said before, I'm planning to do a video on what makes consulting an absolute fucking nightmare, but for now, I hope you found this video both entertaining and informative. As always, don't forget to subscribe and like, and I'll see you next time.